Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mind Over Matter podcast with Ari. I'm your host, Ari. And I just want to say that launching this podcast has been an absolute blast. And I'm so thankful for all the responses and followers I've got. I really appreciate it a lot. So today we're going to be talking about self-love and what that really looks like, all the misunderstandings, what we think self-love looks like, but what it really is. Sometimes we misconstrue the difference between self-love and self-care. So we're going to be diving deep into that. So when we talk about self-love, most of us, the first thing that comes to our mind is skincare, face masks, spa days, bubble baths, candles, crystals, that's at least what comes to my mind sometimes. While those are all practices of self-love, that's not the full definition of what self-love is. I'd consider that more of self-care, which is an act of self-love, but isn't exactly what self-love is. Like I said, self-love goes way deeper. Sometimes self-love looks like having a cry sesh, even though you don't want to cry, or getting out of a toxic relationship, or setting boundaries with a loved one, or even just forgiving yourself when you really don't want to forgive yourself. Like, you've done some really bad shit and it's hard to come back to loving yourself from. To me, self-love means choosing yourself over everyone else. Now, that's taken me a while to figure out, and I'm still working on it, and I wouldn't say I'm very good at it, but I'm getting better day by day. What got me there was really taking like a moment to reflect on my life and how much love I've given to others rather than myself, and realizing that for a very long time I didn't love myself at all. And quite frankly, I put nothing into my own cup of self-love. And to get there, it really took a lot of introspection on myself. So I'd invite you guys all to start off there when it comes to self-love. The biggest one for me was choosing to love myself even when I didn't want to. That was a hard one to kind of get through, but at the end of the day, that was what worked out best for me, because to be quite vulnerable and honest with you guys, I would have a lot of BPD episodes where I would kind of fuck everything up. I have actually broken a few things and put a few holes in walls, and that was really fucking hard to come back from. With friends, with myself, just like having to find that forgiveness from my friends and myself. But I always wanted the forgiveness from my friends first, and I realized that was where the problem was. Like, I needed to forgive myself first before I could expect others to forgive me, because how can they forgive me if I don't even forgive myself? Like, that's a hard expectation to ask. So in doing that, I found how to love myself and like forgive myself was through taking that time to reflect on what I've done and sitting there and being like, it's okay. Things will get better. It was just an episode. But not like to diminish the fact of like episodes are real, but like it's just a part of learning your own mental health struggles. Like, it's really hard to understand what borderline personality disorder is and how to deal with your episodes, and everyone has different episodes, so I can't say what I do for myself might work for everyone. For the most part, really forgiving myself first. And then after that, journaling a lot about what happened, what I want to do next time, what I'm grateful for myself for. A big one. What I'm grateful for myself for. That's a really big one. Because if you can't be grateful for yourself, like, I don't know how you can be grateful for anything else if you can't find some love for yourself first. Like I said, still working on it, but I think I also forgave myself by giving myself a little kindness. Like, if my friend had done that, I would be very kind to them and like tell them it's okay, like things will get better. So basically just like flip your thoughts and act like you're talking to a friend when you're talking to yourself, and that will kind of help reframe that mindset you have towards yourself when you're talking to yourself as a friend. because then you start to think of yourself in like higher terms, and like that mindset switch kind of helps like in the long run, where like you start thinking bad things about yourself when you're trying to forgive yourself, and you're like, wait, no, stop. It's okay. Things will get better. You are forgiven. You can work on this. It is not the end of the world. So enough about me. A quote that I read that I really liked that I want to share with you guys is, it's easy to give up on yourself when you feel like you'll never get better, but self-love means showing up for yourself with kindness and grace, even in the mess. It means protecting your peace, healing your inner child, forgiving yourself again and again. That when I read that really like resonated with me, and I was like, you know what, like, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say in like the sum of words. Some other self-love examples might look like healing your inner child, saying no when it's hard, getting out of a toxic relationship, whether that is friends, family, a loved one, listening to your body, meeting yourself with compassion. And there's really no one way to do it, but like when you put the work in, it will start to show. And I want to dive deeper into what each one means and how you can practice self-love with each one. So healing your inner child, that could look like looking back on your childhood and figuring out like what really resonated with that, like what sticks with you now that still bothers you from your childhood, and going back and like thinking about, okay, why does this bother me? How can I change that? How can I fix that? But like if you do have more traumatic childhood, I would recommend go to therapy, or like therapy is a big one. Like I get it's a lot of money, so that's a start. But if you can't go to therapy, I would say talking to maybe family members or something, trying to figure out how you can like deal with what you went through as a child and like get it from another perspective, or maybe talk to, if it's not like gonna harm you, like if it will be a good thing, talk to the people that caused you some trauma, and maybe talk about like what happened and why you have that trauma. And then maybe you can figure out where to go to from there, because maybe their experience of what you found so traumatic is very different from your experience. So maybe you can find some common ground, and that could help heal what caused you all this pain for so long. Yeah, another thing, let that shit go. Sometimes when you can't talk to these people, you just got to find a way to just move on, say your piece with it, and just let it go and move that out of your life. Don't let that shit hold you back. Be the best version of you and just let it go. And saying no when it's hard. I used to be a yes man person. Like, you ask me anything, yes. Like, you can ask me anything and it's just going to be yes. But sometimes you have to say no. And yeah, it can be really hard if you're just a yes person. But I've learned that you don't always have to say yes. Like, if you really don't want to do it, say no. Say no. I know it's hard, but if you know deep down inside that saying no is what you want to say, then you have to say it. Even if you feel like it's going to hurt someone else, it's still you that you're hurting by saying yes. At the end of the day, what someone else thinks about you cannot impact your life. So if you need to say no, please say no. Another one is letting go of toxic dynamics. Now that's a big one. And I know it's really hard, especially if you're like in really deep in the toxic situation. But if it's really impacting your physical health and your mental health and your emotional health, like, please get out of it. I've been in some toxic situations that I couldn't get out of. And once I did get out of it, I found so much more peace and love, and life just looked a lot more beautiful. And so I think that letting go of a toxic situation is what's best for you. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Like, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm definitely not one to judge, because I've made a few mistakes staying in toxic relationships too long. But at the end of the day, put yourself first. Like, I would say the best advice to get out of a toxic dynamic value yourself over the person that is causing you this toxic relationship. Like, realize that it's gone on too long, and you'll know when the time is right. Like, unfortunately, you might already know it already, but like, you know that you have to get out of it. So I would recommend, let me be honest with you. If it's toxic, but it's safe to leave, please leave. And if it's not safe to leave, please find someone who can help you. But this is for the people who it's safe to leave for. So if your toxic situation is safe to leave for, is safe to leave from, I would recommend, putting yourself first and realizing that it is toxic, and tell them like, hey, like be straight up. Like, hey, honestly, you've kind of fucked me up and I need to not be with you and I need space from you. Please respect that and leave me alone. If they don't leave you alone, then honestly block them, delete their number, don't even answer. Like, you wouldn't love someone like that. So why are you going to let someone love you like that? Have some respect for yourself. Know your worth. Know that you deserve better, because you should be loved the way you would love someone. So if someone's not giving you that, go find someone who will, because I promise you there's someone out there. Great quote again. I used to think that self-love meant fixing myself, but I know it truly means accepting myself, even when I'm healing. So that's the big, big word, accepting yourself. It doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It means accepting yourself when you're at your worst, you're at rock bottom. It means accepting yourself when you're working on yourself, and accepting yourself when you're at your best. But also understand that life is a roller coaster. So you might have your highs and then you're gonna have your lows, and it's just accepting yourself through all of that. Like, you might feel like everything's going great, and then all of a sudden one small thing hits and you're like, oh, this is the end of the world. But just remember, like, life always turns back around. I just need to have this positive mindset. I need to love myself. I need to accept myself, and everything will get better. And that's kind of like what goes through my mind on a daily, where I'm like, it's going to get better. It's okay. Whatever I'm going through right now, it's okay. I accept myself as I am. We'll get through it. Whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, we're going to get through it. If we're wondering where to begin, I have a few journal prompts for you that I'd like to share. So do some daily check-ins with yourself. Like, how am I feeling today? What is my mood? How much energy do I have? What am I grateful for today? What do I need to work on today? And then just a basic journaling through your thoughts and feelings. Sit there with yourself, set a timer for 5 minutes if you don't know where to begin, and just write out all your thoughts for 5 minutes. Just write them down. And then after that, read it, reflect on it, and then that'll kind of show you where you need to go through for the day, or where you need to go in the direction of self-love. Another one is speaking kindly to yourself. I know this one's hard. It can be really hard to speak kindly to yourself, but kind of sit there and write, like, what's my favorite thing about myself? What am I grateful for my body for? What do I like about myself today? What did I do good today? What can I do good tomorrow? Just like speaking about yourself in a higher tone. Or another one is, what would I say to myself if I was a friend talking to myself? That's a good one. But yeah, those are some great ones to practice too, to write down. Using affirmations, that's a big one. As you can see right over here, daily affirmations. I have daily affirmations around my whole room. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I can't show you, but they're everywhere. So I'll read you a few. If you don't know where to start, you can say, I am successful. I am powerful. I am limitless. I am growing. I am safe. I am kind. I am worthy of love. I love myself. I choose myself always. Those are some great ones to start. But I think writing down a daily affirmation every day that you're just going to say throughout the day will really help you out. I also have purchased like daily affirmation cards that I'll check in the morning, and I'll just randomly flip through, and I'm like, okay, this affirmation is for me today. And I'll pull that card out. I'm like, oh, and then it, like, for some reason for me, like, it resonates with me every time I pull out the card. I'm like, wow, I did need to hear that today. So if that works for you and that's like a start for daily affirmations, I would do that. Just like, I think I got them on Amazon for like, I don't know, cheap. So you could start there. Another journal prompt is practicing self-forgiveness. So prompts for that would be like, what have I done that I could do better? What can I change about myself today? What is one thing I could do for myself for today? What is one thing I can forgive myself for? What is one thing I want to work on forgiving myself for? Those are some great ones to start. I could put some more on my Instagram and TikTok if you're really interested in that, but I can go deeper into that too if you just let me know in the comments. Journaling prompts for spending time alone. What would I like to do with myself today? What is one thing that would bring me joy if I did it by myself? Where's one place I could go by myself? But yeah, those are a few prompts. Again, I can put more on my Instagram or my TikTok if that's interesting to you. Just let me know and I will help you with those journaling prompts. And just the main journaling prompts for self-love. Here are a few. What would loving myself look like today? What am I still learning to forgive? What would I say to myself if I were my best friend? And you could do those morning and night. Practice those as long as you need to until it starts to stick in your own head and you don't kind of have to write that down. But you can continue just to like keep that practice going, but like really do it until it sets in your head. And to go in a little more on like self-love and spending time alone, that's one I'm really working on too. I have a hard time spending time alone, but I'm getting there. I think where I started off was being alone in my room and doing what I love best. So that would be something creative like coloring or drawing or painting. And so I kind of took that and I would like go out to a park, just finding a park. It doesn't even matter what park, but going to a park and like I would buy a canvas or just in my notebook and I would just draw or journal or paint. Like I feel like that's the easiest place to begin is just going to a park because everyone at the park doesn't really care what you're doing. So if you ever feel like scared because someone's judging you, just go to a park because everyone's doing their own thing. They're not paying attention to you. And go there and do whatever it is you want to do. After that, I'd say next step to spending time alone for me was just learning how to spend time alone in my own apartment. Like I couldn't even be alone with myself, to be honest. So kind of sitting there and spending a whole day to yourself, just like, what can I do today in my own space? And that could be watching TV. This might sound like just lonely and stuff, but it's not. Like it's a great practice to just like spend time in your room by yourself. So you could like read a book. You could watch TV, watch a podcast, watch anything on whatever. Or you could clean your room, deep clean it. That's a great practice. Another thing you could do, I did this recently. I spent the whole day by myself. Like literally did not talk to anyone. Spent the whole day by myself. I woke up and I was like, okay, today's the day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab a matcha. And so I went to a matcha cafe, drove like 30 minutes. And honestly, it was good, but it wasn't great. So I was like a little upset. So then I went to another matcha cafe and I was like, I'm going to eat food there. Like I'm going to sit by myself and have a meal, which I've never done before. And I was so scared, like ordering and being like table for one, like that was terrifying, but I did it. And after I felt so much better, I was like, okay, like I can actually do this. Like all this fear I put in my head, like no one cares what you're doing, honestly. But so I went to the second matcha cafe, got a breakfast sandwich and a matcha, and that was delicious. And then I went to the park, beautiful park with a view of the ocean. I know not everyone has that, but that's just my favorite park. But I went to a park and I journaled a little bit and then I painted and then I went home and I watched a podcast, did a little self-care to add into the self-love day of spending the day alone. And then I went to bed and it was a great day. And I woke up the next day and I was like, wow, I really did that. Like, and it wasn't as scary as it felt. And I actually felt better about myself the next day. I was like, you know what? Like there was no need to have that anxiety. Like spending time alone is kind of fun. And I think just practicing that more, like as you go on, practicing spending time alone, it'll get easier. I get it's a little nerve-wracking at first, but like just keep practicing it until it sticks. And to end off this episode, I'd just like to say, even when you feel like you're a mess, you're still worthy of love from others and from yourself. This journey is hard, but you're not doing it alone. I'm right here for you. We've got a community of people here for you. Just know that if you have no one, I'm here for you and I'm supporting you. Next time, we're going to dive into a topic that's just as real, and it's going to be why healing isn't linear and how to keep going even when it feels like you've taken a step back, which is a big one. I'm really excited to talk about this, so please stay tuned. I'm so proud of you for this start into your better journey into self-love and all of that. Please follow, review, or share, like, and subscribe. Be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Mind over matter, always. Love you guys.